You brought up A7 and a few other titles, and we're going to put A7 to the side for a moment. If somebody's listening right now, they're getting ready to open up a new tab and jump over. What would you think is something that you would want to point them toward, or maybe even just the content creator, because you think this person's really doing something excellent and I think more people should know about it?
Thank you for asking that. So I'll name a couple of titles and I'll tell you why I think they're great for me, and why we specifically curated those titles on Vuma. And they'll come from different walks of life. One of them is a thriller / maybe a little sci-fi. It's called Eva, EVA. It's the way that they use the color blue in that film is phenomenal. Ava is a teenage girl that just lives like a normal teenage girl life, and it's the picture starts with her coming out of the shower, taking a shower, and she's drying herself off. She comes out of the shower and she doing her normal routine. She slips a little bit and she kind of like falls into a hole in the bathroom, and it is a hole that is made out of a puddle. So the puddle now is the access she has to this whole underwater world.
Okay.
And the beauty of the way that the cinematographer uses the color blue, the way that they then changed from that color palette to a very, I would say, retro 1970 color palette is just phenomenal. The way that they capture her face and her ability to be surprised, and her interest in finding out what's in the hole and where does the hole lead to. Think about, a little bit of Black Mirror type, thriller, horror, short film. It's a short film as well. But that one is phenomenal. I think that...
Wait, before you jump on to the next title.
Yes.
I just have to say, and maybe it's the nerd in me, maybe it's because I'm old, I never thought hearing the words, the things that they've done with the color blue would pique my interest, but I was sold right then. I was like, well, now I have to know what they're doing with the color blue. Because nobody's ever said something like that to me.
They have this shot of her. I'm not going to tell you the whole thing, but they have this shot of her. She goes in the fucking hole, okay? And she is swimming up to the actual surface again, and there's this beautiful, like, slow motion, artistic evolution that she is... Wow, what is crazy? So from the cinematography, from the use of color correction and things like that, that's a really beautiful one. I highly encourage you to go check it out. It's very
I'm definitely going to. Hopefully everybody who gets to watch feels just like I do. Like, well, curiosity alone, I have to. And it's free, so why not?
It's beautiful. The other one, just as a 1.2 is 1970, I think it's 1973, Motorcycle Heart 1973. It is a true story about a French artist and her encounters with a motorcycle driver that is driving in 1973 or 74, I forgot the year, don't quote me on that, to his motorcycle race in Brussels, and he breaks down, and he then has to like search. He breaks down in the middle of the country on the way to Brussels from France, and he then has to go search for the nearest home, and her home is the nearest home. Oh, wow. Beautiful, beautiful story. It's a true story about a very prominent French artist based in early 70s. But the way that they use colors, the film tint, all of this stuff is great. The maturity, the sophistication of how they treat the entire picture is great. I would say there's one called Daniel that if you like spooky and really off the cuff and really weird.
Horror is my life.
Horror, I mean, you have to watch Daniel. It is, if it doesn't make you feel uncomfortable in some way, you got to check your pulse.
I immediately just thought, oh, I know something's wrong with me, but we shall see.
No, we got to figure, you got to tell me what you think after you see it. But Daniel is phenomenal. There's content that's just really well done. You know, we've scoured the earth really because we have content from all over the world. We've scoured the earth and curated an experience that is one of a kind. And we have another 100 new titles that we're processing that will be up on the platform before the end of November. So it's an exciting time.
That's really soon. And I was getting ready to ask, now that you've launched on Red Bee, what comes next? So I guess you've already told us we can just expect a lot more content to keep coming.
Yeah, so I mean, we're here to compete. We're here to be to create and to build a sustainable brand company. So we're going to now operate the company. The shift has gone from standing up the company for 6.5 years to now operating it, which is the beginning part, really. So we are now at the beginning part of operating this amazing brand and company, which means that we have to go find the best content in the world that our audience is going to gravitate towards.
And I won't hold you for too much longer, but I am curious. How do you go? Oh, before I ask this last question, to anybody who is curious, I'm going to save you a lot of the work. I will provide links for Motorcycle Heart 73, Daniel, and Ava. So know that. But how do you go about finding this content?
Well, we have very strong relationships with studios globally. I mean, we have over 50 production houses, studios from all over the world that we have relationships with. So those are really important relationships. We're going to give you a piece of exclusive information. We're going to nobody else knows about. You're the first.
I wanted to do this when I heard exclusive, but
you are the first to hear about this. We're going to have the Vuma Awards, which will then be a whole program, an annual program that celebrates the top films on VumaTV from all over the world, so that nobody else knows about besides your audience. So we're doing some really innovative things that are going to help us be sustainable. We launched last Wednesday. We're now in 23 countries. 23 countries are currently streaming Vuma content. And you know, you want to say, oh yeah, we expected that. But when you see the data as data, it's always a little humbling because you're like, okay, I was not crazy 3 years ago, 5 years ago.
A little validation.
You know, and every entrepreneur and every producer needs that, because this is not the easy road. This is definitely not the easy road. So it's really, it's really gratifying to see that all the brain power that's gone into this, all of the time, all of the learnings are now starting to materialize as better than expected.